Hello everyone, welcome back to Management Study. And today we are going to discuss unit number 3 of consumer behavior, which is consumer perception and knowledge and consumer learning. Okay, so in this series of consumer behavior, we have already completed our 2 units, and this is our third unit. Okay, so let us see what is consumer perception, knowledge, and learning. So, consumer perception and knowledge, in which we have to categorization process and discrimination. So consumer perception is how consumers interpret sensory informations like sights, sounds, and smells to form a meaningful picture of a product or a brand. Let's say if I want to purchase some flowers, and I will probably smell those flowers, and if they smell good, I will make a purchase. If I want to purchase a, let's say, headset, okay, so I will go to the shop and try headsets, and if the sound is very clear, then I will probably going to purchase it. Okay, if I want to buy a television, okay, nowadays people don't buy televisions because they can access pretty good amount of content in their phones. So, but if you are going to buy a TV, then you probably see that how it looks when the channels are running on it. So that is sights. So consumer perception is how consumers interpret with sensory information, which is sight, sounds, and smells, which we have taken the examples of one for each, to form a meaningful picture of a product or a brand. Through this, we can formulate a picture that whether this brand is good for, or whether this brand is to uh, good to purchase or not. Okay. So consumer knowledge refers to the information and beliefs stored in memory that help in decision making. Of course, consumer the information and beliefs that we have towards the brand help us in decision making to whether purchase or not. Categorization process. Consumers use categorization to make sense of the overwhelming number of products they see. It's a mental shortcut where consumers place products into known buckets or categories based on features, purpose, and branding. Okay. So in this categorization, consumers generally categorize the product on the basis of its features, purpose, and branding. So here is the example. A consumer sees a new drink and categorize it as a soft drink if it is fizzy and flavored compared to Coke or Pepsi. And the second one is an energy drink if it is in a tall, slim can. Okay. So compared to Red Bull or Monster. Key elements of categorization. First is prototype. The best example of a category like iPhone is a prototype for smartphones. Second one is assimilation, which means when a new product fits neatly into a new category, known category. And the third one is accommodation. When the consumer creates a new category or changes an existing one, then we can say this category is accommodation of a product. So there are three elements in categorization. First is prototype, second one is assimilation, and third one is accommodation. Now discrimination. Discrimination in general words we say means bias. Something is biased. Okay, we tend to say that we don't have to discriminate on the basis of gender or on the basis of class. So it's a one kind of a bias. Okay, discrimination in consumer behavior refers to a consumer's ability to distinguish between similar products based on subtle differences. Now, types of discrimination. First is perceptual discrimination, distinguishing products based on sensory features like taste, design, and color. Second one is conceptual discrimination, differentiating based on knowledge or beliefs such as brand reputation, ethical sourcing, and ingredients. Example, a consumer may perceptually discriminate between Coca-Cola and Pepsi by taste and conceptually prefer Coca-Cola due to brand loyalty or its global image. Now, strategic implication for marketers. So here in this table, on the one side you have see the concept, and on the other side you have see the implication. So first is categorization. So categorization position your product clearly so it fits in the right category in the consumer's mind, like zero calorie health meal. Discrimination. Discrimination highlight unique features that help consumers differentiate your product from competitors, like contains natural caffeine and not synthetic. Example case, brand Dove product soap. So we all know about this brand Dove, and we have often seen the advertisement of this product. Okay. So in the case of Dove, categorization means Dove is not just a soap, it's often categorized as a moisturizing beauty bar. And discrimination in the case of Dove is consumers differentiate Dove from ordinary soaps due to its clearly textured brand messaging about real beauty and mildness of skin. Types of thresholds in consumer perception. Thresholds refers to the limits of a consumer's sensory or perceptual awareness. They influence whether a consumer notices or remembers a stimulus. Example, an ad, a brand, a product feature. First is absolute threshold. Definition, the minimum intensity of a stimulus required for it to be detected by a consumer. Example, the lowest volume at which a consumer can hear a brand jingle on a TV. Differential threshold, that means just noticeable difference. The minimum change in a stimulus required for the consumer to notice the difference. Example, a 10% price drop that consumers start to notice. And terminal threshold definition, the maximum intensity of a stimulus beyond which the consumer can't perceive any additional effect. Example, increasing fragrance beyond a certain point doesn't make a perfume smell stronger to the consumer. Now, we are going to see consumer memory networks. Consumers stores and retrieve product-related information in a semantic network, a semantic of nodes and links that represent knowledge and associations. Components of consumer memory network. First is nodes, which represents concepts or pieces of information. Example, Coke, cold, refreshing. So if I want to purchase Coke, okay, or Coca-Cola, then what are the nodes for it? Or what are the points that I will keep in mind? So first is the Coke, obviously the drinking material, so the drinking concentration. The second one is it should be cold. It should not be hot, but it should be cold. It should be in freezer. And third one is it should be refreshing. Okay. Stored in short-term or long-term memory. Links, association parts that cannot one node to another. The stronger the link, the easier the recall, like Apple, iPhone, innovation. So in link, you are linking a brand to a product. So Apple is a brand, iPhone is its product, and innovation is their unique feature. Types of memory network, memory in the network. So here in this table, the first column says the type of memory, the second column says the description, and the third column says the example. So in first type of memory, which is sensory memory, temporary storage of sensory info, smelling a bakery and feeling hungry, which is the example of a sensory memory. The second one is short-term memory, active processing and temporary storage, 50 to 30 seconds, seeing an ad briefly and remembering the offer. And the third one is long-term memory, permanent storage of information, recalling the Amul girl or Maggie jingle after years. That is long-term memory. How it works together. When a stimulus crosses the absolute threshold, it is noticed. If it triggers existing nodes in the memory network, it is processed and linked to past knowledge. A new brand may struggle unless it creates a strong association to relevant families. Consumer learning. Consumer learning is a process by which individuals acquire the purchase and consumption knowledge and experience they apply to future behavior. It helps consumers make decisions more efficiently and influences brand perception, preferences, loyalty, and habits. So consumer learning is a process by which individuals acquire the purchase and consumption knowledge. And also they can get the experience of purchasing so that they can't make the same mistake they have made today while purchasing a thing. Okay. It helps consumers make decisions more effectively, more efficiently, and influences brand preferences, loyalty, and habits. Types of consumer learning. First is behavioral learning, which is called stimulus response learning. Learning occurs through interactions with the environment without conscious thought. First is classical conditioning, based on association between stimuli. Example, a soft drink ad plays a happy music. Over time, consumers associate the product with happiness. In the case of Coca-Cola. The second one is instrumental conditioning, which is also called the operant conditioning. Behavior is reinforced through rewards or punishments. Example, a brand gives loyalty points or cashbacks, reinforcing repeated purchase. And the third one is observational learning, which is called modeling. Learning by watching others. Example, consumer sees a celebrity using a skincare brand and imitates the behavior. Now, we are going to see the cognitive learning. It involves active mental processing and problem solving. Consumers learn by using information, reasoning, and experience. Example, a consumer compares two smartphone brands based on features and price before choosing one. Now, what are the key elements in consumer learning? So here in the first column element, the second column explains the explanation, and the third column gives the example. So motivation, which drive to learn, which means drive to learn. Learning about nutritious to choose healthy food. Cues. Stimuli that direct behavior. Buy one, get one free signs. Response, action taken. Buying a new product after sample. Reinforcement strengthens learning. Getting compliments after using a perfume encourages repeat use. Consumer learning and brand strategy. So application and strategy. So brand loyalty, reward programs, reinforce behavior, habit formation, consistent product experience, build automatic buying, new product adaptation, which is free trials, reduce learning risks, and the comparative ads, which stimulate cognitive learning and evaluation. Learning and memory. Learning contributes to consumer memory networks, creating association between brands, features, and emotions. Repetition, reinforcement, and relevance strengthen recall and brand preference. Here are the examples of consumer memory. Apple builds consumer learning through consistent user experience, which is reinforcement, brand storytelling, which is classical conditioning minus innovation is equal to Apple, and cognitive learning. We have product comparison, which is Mac versus PC campaigns. Consumer learning, connectionist and non-connectionist approaches. Connectionist approaches, which is network models, also known as associative network or parallel distributed processing, which is PDP. So the core idea is learning occurs by building interconnected nodes, units of knowledge, and associative links in the brain. Each experience modified connections, strengthening or weakening them. What are the characteristics of connectionist approach? Knowledge is distributed across networks. New learning happens through activation of existing connections. Experience-based and adaptive can explain brand recall, preference formation, and spreading activation. Example, a consumer sees a Starbucks ad, links coffee to comfort, quality, and social status, strengthens memory nodes of Starbucks, like more likely to choose in the next time. Used in advertising recall, brand positioning, and consumer memory models. Then non-connectionist approach, which is rule-based or symbolic models. So the core idea is learning occurs by forming explicit rules, concepts, or categories, often consciously. So the characteristics are knowledge is stored as the rules or schemes or schemas. If X, then Y. Focuses on logical reasoning, decision rules, and structured thinking. Learning is deliberate and analytical, best for novel or complex decisions. Example, a consumer compares two phones and thinks if the price difference is less than 5,000 and brand A has a better camera, then I will choose brand A. Used in high involvement decision making, product comparison, price performance evaluation. Comparison table. So in this table, the first column says the feature, the second one is connectionist, and the third one is non-connectionist. So learning style. For connectionist, it is implicit and associative. For non-connectionist, it is explicit and rule-based structure. For connectionist, it is neural network of nodes. And for It is logical rules and schemes. Suitable for routine emotional or purchases in case of connectionist and complex high involvement decision in case of non-connectionist. Example, brand recalls and habits in the case of connectionist and comparing insurance policy in the case of non-connectionist. A consumer may use both approaches. They connect Maggie to comfort food, which is connectionist, and but may avoid it during a diet using logical rules, which is non-connectionist. So with this, we are completing our unit number 3. Which is consumer perception, knowledge, and consumer learning. Thank you.